Zach McAllister, and today we're going to be reviewing the Ignis Pixel Juggling Ring. Now, I have always wanted a good juggling ring that has LEDs in it on the market. It's something that really nobody has done. There is a brand out there that has these ones that have lights on both sides of the rings. I'm sure I'll display it right here. It's terribly weighted. It could be made by Renegade, I don't know. But really, no one does it because barely anybody ring juggles. I personally love juggling rings, and so this is the kind of prop that, should appeal to me. This is the kind of prop that I would like and that I would want to purchase, and obviously I have done that. So in this video, I'm going to go over all the things that I like about this prop and all of the things that I don't like about this prop. And believe me, there is plenty of both. So let's go ahead and get started with the prop itself. If we look at it up close, you can actually see that it's a little bit see-through. It's actually a 3D printed material. If you look very closely, you can see a battery right there. There's actually 3 of these peeking out on each side of the ring, which leads you to have 6 batteries showing up on the ring entirely. It's pretty unnoticeable from far away, but when you come up close, you can really see it. There's the 3 dots. This is one of the weirdest things about this ring, is that we have 3 dots here. They are clearly Sharpied on, and you can press them in, and you have to use your nail to do so. So for example, if I want to turn it on, I hold down the middle button and break my finger to do it, and the ring turns on. And if you wanted to turn it back off, you have to pinch it really hard, and then it turns off again. Let's talk about the size of this ring. You can see it looks like a juggling ring, correct? But if you actually take it up to a normal juggling ring, it is the, I don't want to say incorrect size, but it's not a standardized size. It is actually the size of a vinyl record, or if you have one, is the size of a laser disc, which gives you the same exact size proportions, which makes me wonder if the people who initially made these rings, if they knew anything about juggling, or if they did any research into juggling rings, because if you look it up, you can see the standardized sizes are clearly marked there: 24 centimeter, 32 centimeter, and 40 centimeter. This is none of those. This is clearly based off of, if I'm being honest, it's clearly based off of a vinyl sizing proportion. Now, because of this size difference, a lot of tricks for me personally do not work anymore. For one, we have the ear stall to stall, the Luke Wilson or Kome Aoki, depending on who you ask. And it just doesn't quite get to my other ear. It's a little bit too small. There's something about it that it's not touching the proper parts of my face. So for me, that trick is out. I can't use that trick. Another trick that you can't really do with these is pancakes. And really what I mean by that is that this prop is incredibly fragile. It looks like one ring, but if we do a little zoom in here, let's see if you can notice. But I'm going to actually break the top part off of this ring here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a ring on the outside that goes all across the ring. There's an entire outer ring here. And then on the inside, there's another ring that can come undone. Now, there's a couple of downsides to this. One is that when you do pancakes, you can feel it breaking apart in your hands, which I guess isn't a terrible issue as long as it continues to work. But as this ring starts to come off, it'll start to do something weird with the wiring, I'm assuming, on the inside. Maybe some connections aren't being made, and it'll totally screw up whatever program you had it set to, but only in segments. So, like, everything will look correct, and then, like, a portion of the pixels will just freak out for no reason. That is a bit of an issue. So, one of the people that I bought these rings off of, their solution was to put this tape over the edge of the ring. I don't know if you can see that. But there is actually a little tiny piece of clear tape running all along this ring. Very unnoticeable and basically fixed most of that problem. But it makes me wonder, like, why couldn't they have fixed that problem themselves? And that's a good segue to talk about how this is actually a prototype. This prop is a prototype. If you go on the website, it is listed as a prototype. And for a prototype, makes sense. Like, it makes sense. You would see like some soldering marks here. It's all 3D printed. It's falling a little bit apart, so it makes sense that it would be a prototype. The problem with that is, oh, hello. So the problem with that is that the real problem here is that this ring costs $369. You're paying $369 for a prototype, and on top of that, there is no guarantee that you'll get any sort of discount on a full version. They don't talk about any sort of system of like, hey, you bought the prototype, so maybe you'll get a discount on future versions, various yada yada yada. I've talked with a couple of people who have bought these. There's a group who bought like so many of these, and I asked them about customer support and if they like reached out about issues or anything, and they did, and they lacked any communication with them about issues. So it sounds to me like if you have any sort of issue with this prop, it breaks on you. You're gonna have tough luck trying to get a hold of them. On the plus side is a technical marvel. The amount of technology within this prop alone is impressive. It's very impressive. It's incredible that there's accelerometers in here that allow for different patterns where it can map. It can tell the spinning is happening. I'll even show you right now. Look at this. Okay, this is a bad example. I was going to show you how the accelerometer works, but I happened to pick the wrong one because one of the rings that I had, the accelerometer is broken, which I guess is still a cool effect, but not what I was trying to show. Let me show a different one. As you're witnessing right now in real time, one of these, the buttons will just decide not to work sometimes. So there is a select thing right here, and I want to go this direction on the selection. But unfortunately, the red button is currently not working, so I'm going to have to go all the way around for the setting. All right, let's see if we can do it this time. Check this out. Yeah, there we go. There we go. You can see the pixel poi technology on the inside. It just turned off on me. Yeah, I'm glad that firsthand you're seeing some of these problems. This is fully charged. This is a fully charged ring. It just decided to turn off for seemingly no reason. And I'm going to try and do another thing, see if I can do it again. And it did not like that setting, so it just turned it off again. We're going to try one last time, maybe on a different setting. I think a portion of this can be blamed on me, that I don't know how their technology works. But on the other hand, they didn't give any sort of instructional things online. I asked about instructions from the person who actually bought it, and they said that there was not a lot. This sucks. I was trying to compliment. Okay, here we go. Last try. It just turned off again. I'm done. Okay, so the accelerometer is cool when it works. I have seen it work many times, but here lies another issue with this prop. The reliability is ridiculously frantic. There's not a single one of these rings that is like more broken than the other, but they just seem to take turns deciding what will go wrong. Again, that could be partially on me. I'm not the one who built these. I don't know how they work. But they just seemingly will decide to go AFK and turn themselves off for no reason. Or if I have a setting seemingly saved, in the context of this, it'll just go to something else, or it'll just, while I'm juggling it, it will change settings for seemingly no reason. And there's no way of knowing how or why it's doing that. Let's see. There is a pretty complicated system settings. You can see there's some blinking going on there, and there's a whole wheel of settings. It seems pretty fancy. But my favorite thing is that right here, it's a little hard to tell, but there's a little color wheel right here, and you can select a color. I think this is the best setting, personally. And you can pick any of these basic colors. I'm going to go with yellow because it's very freaking bright and intense. And I'm wearing a yellow shirt. And when it works, it looks really freaking cool. If you're a fan of gambling and you just have money to throw away, I would give you the same advice as I would give somebody else who likes to gamble. Don't spend more money than you're ready to lose, because you might lose money on this. They are very, very cool. They look very, very cool. They are by far brighter than Flotoy's Vision Clubs. They are incredibly bright. It's very impressive. There's a charging port right there. I don't know if you can see that. See that right there? It's a micro USB. Charging port seems fine. They charge fine. Battery life at full brightness is maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you're lucky. Some colors tend to be brighter than others, and I assume those create more of an issue for the battery life. But I imagine also if you just had them dimmer, then it would last longer. But the whole reason I have these is because I was like, wow, it looks so cool how bright they are. So I'm just going to max them out. So that's also a personal issue that I struggle with. If you had them at a much lower brightness setting, then I'm sure you could make them last for like 30 minutes if you wanted to. Finally, we need to talk about the app. The app is actually pretty cool. I imagine it is pretty well done because it has to do with all of their props. They must have an app for every prop. So this is not specific to the juggling ring. So this probably has a lot of kinks worked out already. But on the app, you can actually go and you can change the brightness. Ooh, wow, that's very bright. Like I said, the brightness is pretty intense. And like I said, also, it is very impressive how this much is fit into one juggling ring. You can pick different colors. Surprisingly, there's like a setting that's seemingly where you could like make a show, like a light show. But I don't know how that works exactly. It's called timelines, and I'm assuming you can make a show similar to how on the Flotoys app, maybe not as sophisticated. But yeah, you can change the brightness, like I said. So maybe you can make that battery life save and stay a little bit. There's a couple of other things here that I don't know if I would ever use, like training settings. You can have it see how many drops you have or how many catches you have. The app is fine. But I really don't think I can recommend this prop, especially considering there's a lot of issues within this company. But yeah, this doesn't feel like a passion project where somebody wanted to create a good juggling ring. Seems like they didn't know what they were doing. They're probably thinking like, yeah, there's probably some ring jugglers out there we can make some money off of. Yeah, let's just try and make a juggling ring. Let's go for it. I can't talk about the balls, but the clubs seem fine. But the ring, the price point is awful. I could make a list of how many things you could buy with the price of 5 juggling rings. Let's do some math really quick. If I had bought this for full price, that would be $369 times 5. That would have been $1,845. Think of all the things you could buy instead of 5 juggling rings that might not even work. Think of all of those options, and then if you're still interested, and you're just like, I really need this for my show, and I have money to dump into it, I'd say give it a go. But don't say I did not warn you. It could go horribly wrong for you. You could have a prop that does not work, and you're out $2,000. But anyway, guys, I typically don't make negative reviews like this, but I figured this one is a little bit warranted. This is kind of a mess for the price point. You would expect it to be a little bit more. I mean, you're expecting, after paying a premium, you would expect to have a premium product, and that is not what this is. It is a prototype. You should not be paying $369 for a prototype that does not work. But personally, if I were you, I would not spend $2,000 on a prototype that only works half of the time, if even that. No customer service. I would not recommend this product. Personally, I don't know much about Ignis Pixel, but maybe the rest of their products are great. I imagine that the Pixel Poi is great because everyone seems to like the Pixel Poi from them. So I have nothing negative to say about that, but if they're going to make a ring like this, I'd really love to see them make a V2, possibly mess with the price if possible, or don't release a product unless it's ready to go and it's not going to break on people, because that's just kind of scummy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all later.